Do you know what surprises me the most about the world we live in today? It's not technology. It's not artificial intelligence. It's not even the speed of change. What surprises me the most is how much we underestimate quiet strategies. We only pay attention to noise, to headlines, to big announcements. But the truth of power is always hidden in silence, in patience, in moves you cannot see until it is too late. India is a country that understands this very well. For decades, the world looked at India with mixed emotions. Yes, a big population. Yes, potential, but also slow, complicated, chaotic. That's what the West said. That's what analysts wrote in newspapers. India can never be like China, they used to say. India is too democratic, too divided, too disorganized. But what they didn't see is that behind all the noise, behind all the debates, India was building something quietly, piece by piece, a hidden economic strategy. And this is what I want to talk about with you today. Not the India of headlines, not the India of Bollywood, not the India of politics that you see on television. I want to show you the India the West still cannot see because they are too underestimating it. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, when I first traveled to India, I met young entrepreneurs who didn't have offices, didn't have computers. Some of them didn't even have proper electricity in their villages. But they had vision. They told me, one day, India will not just be a back office of the world. We will build companies, we will build innovation, we will build systems that even America will have to use. At that time, even I thought it sounded too ambitious. But today, look at what is happening. India is not trying to copy America. It is not trying to copy China. It is building its own model. A unique mix of democracy, digital infrastructure, and global ambition. And the secret playbook begins with one powerful idea: build the foundation first and let the results come later. Most countries, when they want to grow fast, they build skyscrapers, airports, highways, and they show off GDP numbers. India took a different approach. It said, let's build identity first. Let's connect every citizen to the system before we connect them to the economy. That's why India created Aadhaar, the world's largest biometric identification program. Over 1 billion people connected, giving India the power to deliver services, payments, and security in a way no democracy ever achieved before. The West laughed at this at first. They thought, why waste money on this? But now, every global bank, every technology company, every government is studying Aadhaar because they realize it is not just an ID card, it is the backbone of a new kind of it does. But don't confuse problems with direction. America has problems. China has problems. Every great nation has them. The real question is, are they moving in the right direction? And India today is moving in a direction the West cannot yet understand. Because the West is still looking for the India of yesterday. They are still asking, where are the roads? Where are the airports? Where are the factories? But India is quietly saying, wait, you will see. First, we are connecting people. Then, we will connect production. And finally, we will connect the world. And here is the most surprising part. India is doing this while staying democratic, while staying noisy, while staying messy. That's what the West cannot digest. Because in their playbook, democracy slows you down. But India is proving that democracy, when combined with digital infrastructure, can be faster, more inclusive, and more resilient than authoritarian speed. You see, speed without trust collapses. But trust with patience builds empires. And India's strategy is about trust. Look at what's happening globally. America is divided. China is under pressure. Europe is tired. And in the middle of this, India is playing a long game. It doesn't shout. It doesn't threaten. It doesn't expand militarily. Instead, it expands with markets, with technology, with talent. Slowly, but surely. And here's the truth: the West still cannot see it because they don't believe slow, quiet strategies can work. They are trained to see only noise, only big moves. But power doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes the most dangerous competitor is the one you don't see coming. India is that competitor. And let me tell you why this matters to you sitting here today. Because it's not just about geopolitics. It's about your life, your career, your business. The principle is the same. Don't just copy others. Don't just chase speed. Build your foundation. Build your trust. Build your identity. And then when the world is distracted, you rise. That is how nations rise. That is how individuals rise. So when you look at India today, don't just see the poverty, the noise, the politics. Look deeper. See the hidden strategy and ask yourself, am I building my foundation or am I just running after results? Because the results only come when the foundation is unshakable. That's India's secret playbook. And it is the lesson the West still cannot see. Now, let's go deeper. Because a strategy is never just about technology or payments. It is about vision. And India's vision today is much bigger than what most analysts are willing to admit. If you look at history, every great economic rise started with one thing: confidence. America had confidence after World War II. China had confidence after opening up in the 1980s. And India, for the first time in modern history, has confidence at scale. It believes in itself. You can see this confidence in the young generation. Over 65% of India's population is under 35 years old. Think about that. In America, the average age is rising. In Europe, populations are shrinking. Even China now faces an aging crisis. But India is young, ambitious, hungry. This is not a small advantage. It is the biggest asset a nation can have. And the West still doesn't see how dangerous this is because they don't understand hunger. They don't understand what it means to have 700 million young people who want to prove themselves. Now, combine that with digital tools. Young people who are connected, who can learn online, who can build startups, who can export services without ever leaving their home. This is why I say India is not just catching up. It is leaping ahead in ways that are invisible to those who only look at traditional numbers. Let me give you an example. The United States still dominates in Silicon Valley. China still dominates in manufacturing. But look closely in startups, in fintech, in AI services. India is becoming the silent third force. Investors know this. They are pouring billions into India, not because India is perfect, but because they can see what the West cannot. They can see the direction. But strategy is not only about youth. It is also about alliances. India understands something very important. In today's world, you cannot rise alone. You must balance power. Look at how India positions itself. With America, it is a partner. With Russia, still a friend. With the Middle East, a trusted buyer. With Southeast Asia, a brother. With Europe, a market. With Africa, a development partner. This is not by accident. This is chess. Do you know what the West still doesn't see? They think India is just confused, trying to please everyone. No. India is building optionality. In business, optionality is survival. If you only have one customer, you are weak. If you have many customers, you are strong. India applies the same principle to geopolitics. If America turns away, India has Russia. If China pressures, India has America. If oil prices rise, India has alternatives. It always has options. That is not confusion. That is strategy. And here's another part of the hidden playbook: self-reliance, but not isolation. India talks about Atmanirbhar Bharat, a self-reliant India. Many in the West mock this. They thought it was old-fashioned nationalism. But what they missed is the nuance. India is not closing itself. It is building the capacity to stand on its own feet while still trading with the world. That's the smartest position you can have. You don't beg for help, but you also don't shut yourself in. You build from strength. Now, let's talk about something very few people notice: energy. The world is heading into an energy war. Oil, gas, renewables, everything is in flux. Europe is struggling. China is stockpiling. America is conflicted. And India, quietly, it is building one of the largest renewable energy programs in the world. Solar, wind, green hydrogen, while also buying cheap oil from Russia when everyone else hesitates. This is what I mean by invisible strategy. The West sees India buying oil and criticizes it. What they don't see is that India is also building the future of clean energy at the same time. One hand in the present, one hand in the future. That's balance. Now let me address something that matters personally to many of you. Corruption, bureaucracy, the old problems of India. I know. I've heard it 1,000 times, Jack. India has too many rules, too much red tape, too much chaos. Yes, this is true. But the story is not finished. In the last decade, India has quietly moved thousands of services online. Company registration, tax payments, government tenders, all going digital. This doesn't kill corruption overnight, but it makes it harder. It reduces it step by step. And the more people use digital platforms, the less space there is for the old games. This is why I keep saying, don't look at today's noise. Look at tomorrow's foundation. India is not yet shining like a polished diamond, but it is cutting the stone, shaping it, preparing it. And when the cut is ready, the shine will shock the world. Now, let's compare India's strategy with the West. The West is addicted to quarterly results. Everything is about short-term politics, short-term profits, short-term headlines. But India, whether by design or necessity, is playing long-term. Even its messiness is long-term, because in a noisy democracy, nothing happens quickly. But when it does happen, it is built on consensus and it lasts. That is strength the West cannot see. Let's also look at talent. Every global tech company, Google, Microsoft, Adobe, IBM, has Indian CEOs or leaders. This is not coincidence. This is the export of India's hidden playbook, resilience, adaptability, education. You see, India may not yet have the richest companies in the world, but it already has the richest talent pool. And in the 21st century, talent is more important than tanks. Let me make it personal for you. If you are running a business, ask yourself, do you build your company for the next quarter or for the next decade? If you are building for the next quarter, you may make money. But if you build for the next decade, you create legacy. That is what India is doing. It is building for legacy, not headlines. And here's the warning I give to America, to Europe, even to China. Don't underestimate India because it looks chaotic. Chaos is sometimes energy in disguise. It is messy on the surface, but beneath it is movement. I'll tell you something I've learned in my life. The people who are underestimated are the most dangerous. Because when no one believes in them, they work harder. They keep going. They build in silence. And one day, when they rise, the world is shocked. India is that person in the global room, ignored, underestimated, even mocked. But it keeps working. It keeps building. And one day, it will stand up, and everyone will say, where did this come from? So my friends, understand this. India's hidden strategy is not about perfection. It is about persistence. It is about resilience. It is about slowly, steadily building a base so strong that even if the world shakes, India stands firm. And that, my friends, is something the West still cannot see. But the most important part of this entire story is not what India has already built. It's what comes next. Because the hidden strategy is not only about payments, identity, or even alliances. The real genius of India's playbook lies in timing. You see, in life and in business, timing is everything. You can have the best idea, but if the world is not ready, it fails. You can have average ideas, but if the world is hungry, they succeed. India's rise is not just about India working hard. It is about the world entering a moment of weakness, exactly as India enters a moment of strength. Look around you. America is divided politically, socially, and economically. China is slowing down, dealing with aging, debt, and distrust from the world. Europe is exhausted by wars, energy crisis, and internal disputes. Even countries like Japan and South Korea, despite their innovation, face demographic decline. But India is rising at the perfect time, young, growing, stable, and trusted by many sides. This is why I say to you, the West still cannot see what is happening. They still measure India by yesterday's metrics. They ask, where are the highways? Where are the factories? But the truth is, power in the 21st century is not about concrete. It's about connectivity. And India is building connectivity at a scale the West cannot yet imagine. Connectivity of people through identity. Connectivity of money through digital payments. Connectivity of ideas through startups. Connectivity of nations through balanced diplomacy. Think about this. When America sells weapons, it creates fear. When China builds infrastructure, it creates debt. But when India exports software, talent, and trust, it creates connection. Which one is more powerful in the long run? The one that wins hearts, not just battles. And let me tell you a secret. The West still believes it owns the narrative. They think they control the story of power. But look at what is happening. Indians are telling their own story. Indian films on Netflix, Indian CEOs in global companies, Indian scientists leading innovation, Indian voices in diplomacy. The story is shifting. And when the story shifts, the power shifts. I want you to imagine the next 20 years. Imagine an India where every citizen has digital identity, where payments are seamless, where renewable energy powers the nation, where young entrepreneurs create unicorns, not just for India, but for Africa, for Southeast Asia, for Latin America. This is not fantasy. This is the path already being built. Now, here's the real question. Will the West adapt, or will it ignore until it's too late? Because history shows us those who underestimate lose. They underestimated America once. They underestimated China once. And now they are underestimating India. The pattern is repeating, but the lesson is not being learned. But let me bring this back to you personally, because you are not just here to hear about geopolitics. You are here to find meaning for yourself. And here is the meaning. Don't let others define your limits. Don't let others tell you what you cannot do. India was told for decades, you cannot be like China. You cannot grow fast. You cannot manage democracy and development together. And yet, here it is, proving them wrong step by step. The same is true for you. Maybe people told you that you are too old, too slow, too inexperienced, too unprepared. Maybe people laugh at your dreams. That is fine. Let them laugh. Let them underestimate you. Because underestimation is your advantage. It gives you space to prepare, to build, to grow without pressure. And when you finally rise, they will not be ready for you. That's the lesson of India's hidden playbook. Silence, persistence, patience, and then sudden strength. Now, let's talk about one more critical point: values. Because strategy without values is dangerous. China rose fast, but many fear China's model. America has power, but many doubt its consistency. Europe has wealth, but many question its unity. What about India? India's greatest strength may not be its size or its youth, but its values. A democracy that absorbs noise, a culture that celebrates diversity, a philosophy that believes the world is one family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This is not just poetry. This is geopolitics. When India says the world is one family, it offers a model of growth without domination. It offers leadership without fear. It offers power with trust. And in a world that is tired of conflict, tired of division, tired of arrogance, that is exactly what people are looking for. My friends,